Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Belmont at Aqueduct on Friday. Race number 8, a nice stakes race for 2-year-old fillies. It's the Chelsey Flower, mile and a 16th on the turf. Let's take a peek at this field. It's a short field, only 6 in the body of the race. 7, 8, and 9 are entered main track only, but the horses that have competed, and competed on turf especially, have shown some ability, especially the Chad Brown train duo, the one tax implications, the 2 implicated.
Yeah, I thought they both ran well, winning their most recent starts. Tax Implications did it as a first-time starter at a pretty short price at Monmouth, but man, she was pretty impressive doing it.
We'll throw up the Timeform U.S. pace projector, always a factor in these short fields at Aqueduct on the turf. Grand Oak is expected to make the lead, according to Timeform U.S. She has shown sprint speed in the past. She's stretching out for the first time. I think Smokey Eyes, they might have found something with her last time out when she made the lead against a weaker field. I expect her to be close as well.
I guess the 6 will go forward again. I can't see her beating the 5 to the lead if the 5, wants it, and I can't think of one good reason why Graham Motion and John Velasquez would not want the 5 on the lead. And here, Dan, she's a really fast horse. She's stretching out for the first time in this race, and I feel like they just have to go.
Let's talk about the 2 Chad Brown train runners. The number 1, Tax Implications, a very impressive debut winner going 2 turns on the turf at Monmouth. Let's watch that race. Tax Implications was able to save ground most of the way. She gets to the outside. The trip was fine, even though the pace wasn't very fast. But just take a look at this last 3/16 of a mile. She puts the boots to the field.
Yeah, she just dusts this field. Chad had 2 in here. This was the one they liked. She took all the money in here, and she ran to the money den. She just buries this field. That's her stablemate, who will wind up finishing second. And then she came to Aqueduct last week and broke her maiden with a 71 buyer. So I don't know. I just feel like this horse was really impressive. She has a pedigree for the connections. She's got a great post here. She's the horse to beat.
The horse that will be the higher priced of the 2 Chad horses is right next door, the number 2, Implicated. She seems green. She also seems like she has a little bit of ability. Let's watch the stretch run from Implicated. She made an early 4-wide bid on the back stretch through the turn, and you're going to watch Flavian Pratt. I think he wins the race because he really gets her to change leads in the stretch, and then she's going to run down the horse on the lead who is very game. Yes, she got a very fast first quarter to run into. She's still learning, Mike, but I was pretty impressed that she was able to sustain a half-mile run.
I agree with you. I liked this performance from her, and I know it's close at the end. I thought she won it under strong handling there, Dan. You're right. She made the early move. She was wide around the turn, just continuing to come forward, and she never relented there. I thought it was a deceptively strong maiden win from this filly first-time turf.
The number 3 is the Classy One, and she'll be trying turf for the first time for trainer Kelly Breen. And boy, does she have a turf pedigree. Her dam was a grade 3 stakes winner on the surface. The Classy One is a full sister to Valedictorian, a multiple grade 3 winner on the turf. She's a half sister to a multiple stakes winner on the turf. And they wanted to get her on last time out at Laurel and the Salima. The weather didn't cooperate.
Yeah, it didn't, and that's your circuit, Dan. You follow that race. I mean, didn't she just lose all chance at the start of that race, breaking from the rail? She came out dead last, and her rider just did what he had to do there. He just sat with her. He tried to get her to make a run around the turn. She couldn't really get involved in it. I'm not holding that race against her at all. Her debut was fine to me. I thought she worked really hard to win that race, but I don't think she's a sprinter, and I think she's going to improve on the turf here. If I was going to play against the Chad horses, I'm not suggesting I'm going to, but if I was, it would be with her.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the reason she had to work in her debut is because she's not a sprinter, and she weighed in at over 1,100 pounds. That's a big 2-year-old for her second lifetime start. Distance is going to be okay for her, and obviously she has the turf pedigree. Life, Love, and Laughter comes in off a victory at Pimlico. They stretched her out 3 furlongs for her second lifetime start. Michael Trump had very good numbers with second-time starters. Life, Love, and Laughter was ready for start number 2. She was relatively close to the pace. She makes her move here, and she eventually is going to get the better of them. More of a workmanlike race, perhaps, than anything else, but she was game the last 16th of a mile.
Yeah, I agree with you. She got a great trip in this race, but she is really digging in because this runner-up is bearing down on her, and she's just not going to let this horse get by. I thought this was a good performance. They put distance on the rest of these horses, so that might suggest it's a stronger race than it looks on paper. Her debut was good too, Dan. She doesn't want to sprint. She had trouble getting clear in that race, and once she got daylight, she really made up a lot of ground at the end.
Grand Oak, I believe, began her career for trainer Rusty Arnold. Graham Motion has her now. This horse, they decided to ship over to Royal Ascot. She was in very tough in that Group 2 Queen Mary. They've had to regroup. A couple of even performances, but against tough fields. One on synth, one against the boys, one off the layoff. She's the speed of this race under Johnny V, and I guess the plan is to try to put them to sleep.
I think you just have to go. I really liked the first two starts of her career. I realized that she has an improved since then. I wonder if there are some excuses to be made, Dan. I'm not going to hold the synthetic race against her last time. When they faced the boys two back, for some reason, they just didn't go, and she wound up sort of at the back and over on the inside behind horses. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think they just got to send her here and see if she can take a step forward.
And the New York bred, the number 6, Smokey Eyes, will face Open Company for the first time in her first race out of the maiden ranks. She was odds on against a weaker field of state-bred maidens, and the race we'll show you right now. Start number 3, it's the third consecutive race she's been favored. This time, Manny Franco decided not to fool around, put her on the lead. She faced a little bit of pressure on the backstretch, but as you see here, she's under a hard drive, and she's never in any threat of losing.
No, just too good for these horses. Finally breaking through here. You know, she lost the first two starts as the favorite. I didn't see excuses for her in either one of those losses, Dan, and that sort of turned me off to her. But listen, the public came back for even more last time, and they finally got it right. She wired that field. I don't know. I don't like any of her races necessarily. And I think she has her hands full with those two horses down to the inside.
Well, let's take a look at our top picks for the feature race at Belmont at Aqueduct on Friday, as the 3 horses on the outside are entered main track only. You're going to go with the slightly better price of the Chad Runners Implicated. I think she's still learning. I think she has a little bit of a kick. And again, you're going to get the better price. Tax implications, striking stretch kick.
Yeah, I'm not way against the one. I think she's going to be tough in here. But I think that maiden win from Implicated last time might be a little bit underrated. I'm going to try her in here.
Simply a stab for me with Smokey Eyes, so I think we'll get the jump on both the 1 and the 2 from stalking range in here. She's slowly getting better. Does she have to improve? Certainly. And in this short field, I wonder what kind of price she really will be. So maybe I'll sit this one out unless Smokey Eyes goes off at around 5 or 6 to 1. 2-1-3-5 for Mike, 6-1-2-5 for me. It's the Chelsey Flower, your feature race at Belmont at the Big A on Friday. Good luck.